Pretty much so, because it's all on network folders.
Do that, or just bring the working papers?
They just bring the working papers in.
Generally.
Yeah, you don't need the history because it's all gone out the door already.
Yeah.
In essence. Yeah. Okay. So just finishing off on the search and retrieval. But what we have in addition to all this is a concept of a client card.
Hasn't paid, do not do any work on this client. We've seen that before a few times, haven't we?
And so the concept here is that we have an import button which gives us some of the integration points. Okay, so the import button is configured to talk to the legacy application, Iris, Digita, whatever, and therefore we can keep Docusoft in line with the current business application in terms of client references, client addresses, contact details, client managers, email addresses, etc., etc. And the interesting one we have here, and Kevin would be testament to the usage of this client note as opposed to a document note, is that you can put anything you like in here. And this would be a classic to stop anybody doing any elaborate amount of work.
So that comes up every time somebody looks at that client folder?
Absolutely.
So there's no chance of them doing anything without...
Can't miss it.
And that's, again, going back to old manual systems from 7 years ago, we used to write stuff on the front of the paper files.
Yeah, with a paper clip.
Well, this is the client's access code for Sage or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is his password for his payroll. All that now goes into this note section on the front of the client.
So you've got all the codes and stuff there already and everybody can see them?
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so that's search and retrieval. And if I come back to the main menu, you can see that I could literally just go back in and start another search. I just wanted to point out one nice little feature we have here in terms of OCR. We also have OCR. If I wanted to search any document that contains the word Robin, and I'll just again wait for a little bit of a catch up on that window. So not only do we have what we call the structured filing, which is customized to user requirements, but we have what we call the unstructured filing, which is optical character recognition, or OCR. And if I run the search now, it will search the Aaron Roofing client and find me documents that contain the word Robin written on the document but not indexed by the document, which is a fundamental advantage in terms of locating documents.
Well, it's very good if you're doing a query presumably from a client on a tax situation where you're looking maybe at inheritance tax. You could just search inheritance tax and see what everybody else in the firm has done.
Yes. Yep.
And have a look at the research that other people and the work other people have done, save you some time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one other nice little feature on the binoculars here even highlights where it found the word. So it's a very powerful tool, and you don't even have to supply the client. You can search the whole database and find words wherever that word may be.
Yeah, I can see that's quite useful for those questions on planning and you know, those odd questions that somebody's got knowledge of in their head. They've shared it with the client, but not everybody else in the firm, and now we can all get into that.
Yep. Or as simple as, I know I put it in the system, but I cannot remember.
Can't remember where I did it.
And we have the tools to go and find it for you.
It's like that. Sure.
So that's the search and retrieval. But the the icing on the cake with these kind of systems, that gives you significant advantages in terms of document handling, document management, email management. Everything is secured against deletion. It cannot be deleted. It can always be found. But the icing on the cake, as I mentioned, is the workflow. Okay, so you get significant advantages from document management. But if you are also able to distribute documents to other users, or to even if you're a sole practitioner, even if it's just yourself, in terms of an in-tray concept, we have a complete management tool for workflow. Okay, so if I have a document and I wanted to forward it to a colleague, we have a forwarding button, and we can forward it for action, or we can forward it for information.
And that's all the firm's names listed on there. You pre-populate that for a firm.
Absolutely. So from one to 1,000, all the names would be here. All groups, as you can see, I have a group here.
Or Tony Blair in there.
Yes.
Some Monty Python and some politicians in there.
I've got some very interesting names in mind.
Nigel Havers, goodness me.
Yeah, you can tell the people who are doing the work because we can find out what they're up to. So if I was to forward this document to Tony Blair and David Cameron, it would be a very interesting combination, and then copy it to George. I don't have George Osborne on here. To David Beckham, and I could say urgent, and you can literally route this document to these users either for action or for information. You can set up
some comments.
Or make some comments. You can give an action by date. You can track it to know that they've dealt with it.
Kevin, how often do you use that? On a daily basis, one imagines.
The forwarding for action is used all the time, and it's basically when it comes in, as Robin will show in a minute, documents come in, it'll go to one of my managers for action, but a copy will come to me for my information, so I know what's going on in the firm.
That helps, doesn't it, as a partner, really?
Well, yeah. And for those partners that are control freaks and want to see everything that happens in the firm.
That's every partner listening today, Kevin.
It can be done. They can still see everything that comes in the firm without actually physically seeing the pieces of paper.
Let's go back to the start then. Can I ask you what happens when we get a scanner and we scan a document? The post comes in. Somebody presumably is in charge of the scanning.
Yep.
How do we get that in the system then?
Okay, let me cover the scanning. So we have an acquire button, which is basically our scanning interface. So we can control a locally attached scanner, like so. So we would have the scanner name in this box here, and we would acquire pages on the scanner and deliver them to the Docusoft screen. Now I haven't got a scanner attached, so I'm going to demonstrate that using one I prepared earlier scenario.
That's your post.
So that's my post. So I'm going to drag.
Let's just wait for the screen to come up there, Robin, because there's slight delay. So this is Robin's post. So it scanned it in, what he did earlier.
Do that drag again.
Okay, so just to, I've been asked to do that again, so let me just make sure everyone saw that. So if I browse my folder, go and find a document, and I will wait for screen catch up here.
Right, let's just wait till the screen catches up with your post there, Robin. So there's Robin's post. Now you scanned that in this morning, prepared earlier.
Absolutely, yeah. So I didn't have to bring a scanner with me to the demonstration, so I'm literally going to drag that document to the window here and remove the browser, and you can see that is the equivalent of me scanning 6 pages on a local scanner.
What is it?
Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, and page 6.
Right.
It is a document that has come in. It's either a 6-page document or 6 one-page documents. It is a batch of posts that needs to be indexed. Okay, and I transfer them to the Docusoft screen, and there they are, documents waiting to be indexed. Okay, so again, I'm waiting for a screen catch up here. So here we go. So we can see that now that I can break up post on the screen by literally using the control key, highlight 2 pages, and create a PDF, a 2-page PDF, from the batch of 6, index it to a client file, and route it to a user for further processing.
So you file it and send it to someone like me or Kevin to deal with?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is by far and away the most efficient way to handle document capture and distribution.
And who generally does that? Does the firm have somebody dedicated to do this?
Yes, this is usually at post area, so post opening. And again, it's procedural control. It's then down to whether the post goes to a partner for initials, posting, handwriting initials on documents, or whether there's a trust element at the post area where the post people can actually scan, index, and route, and we can automate the routing as well.
Some of it will be really easy because it's correspondence to a partner or manager or senior in the firm. That's absolutely straightforward.
Yep.
What happens when they're not quite sure where it should go?
Well, they can put default values in, don't know, and just give it to Kevin, and Kevin will deal with it.
So do you get many of those, Kevin, every day?
No, thankfully.
Yeah.
Because most of it is for particular clients. We pre-populated the for action and copy to fields. And so if something comes in for Fred Blogs, it'll come to me, or as a copy, it'll go to Stephen, my manager, pre-populated.
So if I show you the pre-population, if I pick a client called Avitia and I file it away to general correspondence, you'll see how the pre-population is starting to work here.
So you've got David Cameron and Julie Marsh.
Absolutely. So David Cameron gets the document for action, and Julie Marsh gets a copy. Now this could be partner at the top and user at the bottom, or more realistically, it will be the other way around.
Yeah.
David Cameron would actually be the client manager, and Julie Marsh would be the partner.
And Robin, that's something you do for firms. You sit with them and say,
yes,
this is how for this client.
Yes. Well, the toolkit is there for the clients who build their own workflows.
Yeah.
Yep. So
get them started. You'll train them.
We will train them up on how to do this. Okay. Yeah. So the automation is key to this, because what it means is and if I put a document title in here called ticking list, which we can put on a document.
Please review, add to file, sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, the top panel is the filing.
Yeah.
And the middle panel is the distribution. Okay. If it's been misfiled in the top panel, then David Cameron, when he gets the document in his in tray, will refile it.
Right.
As a matter of course, the first thing
and the person copied too, can they do that?
They can do that, and
it generally finds its way around.
Absolutely. Well, that's the advantage of the workflow. It will go to somebody. It has been filed, so there's a change of procedure going on here. It is not filing after the event; it's filing before the event, and it's using the distribution tool to manage the event.
Very good.
Okay. So if I save selected now, it will take the first 2 pages, index it, and route it to David Cameron. If I do another one very, very quickly, just so everyone's clear, I'm going to file this one away to my demo client, put this one into the tax section, sub-level of inheritance tax, give it a name of...
Just hold there, Robin.
Yep.
So the screen can catch up. So everybody can see that you've entered the client, the section, the description. You're going to put a description, the sub-level. So within the tax file, you've got different sub-levels types of tax. You might have a very complicated client, presumably, who has capital gains tax issues, income tax issues,
Absolutely.
And corporation tax.
Yep. Yep. You can build structures according to the way you want them to look. That's precisely what it's
Yeah, and again, it's optional. People don't have to use them if they don't want to.
Yeah, some firms will just have a tax file.
Yeah.
Bung it all
Some
in there.
users will just use the tax section.
Yeah.
Others will use the sub-levels as well. So it's a game. It's not...
Yeah, if you're doing any specialist tax planning for that particular client, you can set up a sub-level, presumably, in the tax file yourself and say, well, I'm dealing with that guy's property in Spain or whatever, and that becomes a separate...
Absolutely. Yep. And you can have private folders as well. So you could have a private client, and only the partner would be allowed to see that the documents within that private client.
And there still are some private clients about, aren't there, even in today's day?
Well, yes, or you may have some employees whose fathers' accounts are being looked after, and therefore, you know, they don't want the rest of the company looking at the family.
I'm glad you said accounts and not auditing.
They've got a partners section which only the partners can access.
Yeah.
What do you keep in there?
Accounts, VAT returns.
Your own stuff.
Our own stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so again,
again, with access, you can limit access to, you know, if you're a senior, semi-senior, you can't see some of the admin stuff, and for managers, you know, and their partners.
Yeah, it's comprehensive in terms of security. You can secure the folder, the client, the section, and even the document.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and again, so if I just do another one quickly, you can see now that another page has been filed, and there are only 3 pages left in the pot of post that was originally scanned that still require indexing. Okay, so that's the paper capture concept. And if I now show you the workflow, which is what we call Task Manager, this is my in tray. It's got a screen that looks.
So you're a user, Robin. The post and it's all there, and that's what you've got to deal with.
Yes, this is my
deal.
Electronic in tray, based on PDFs, emails. There could be Word documents in here. There could be Excel spreadsheets. It doesn't matter. There are documents in my in tray, and I need to deal with them. Okay, the look and feel of this screen. The look and feel of this screen is very much Outlook orientated. I can take a document. I can look at the audit trail. It was scanned on the 18th of March at 11:42. It's in my in tray, and I can do things with it. I could refile it, for example, because it's in the wrong place. It shouldn't have gone to air and roofing. It should have gone to air and cleaning. So the first thing I do is tidy up the filing. Okay. And if I wait for everybody to catch up, you'll see now at the top of the screen the document is now filed to the correct client. I could change the description. It says final tax return. We have an edit description button, and we can change the document description to something a little bit more meaningful. But the principle here is that with this document, I can either action it or forward it to a colleague for them to action. Okay, so the in tray is literally a pointer to a file document, and for example, I could take this document and forward it to Julie Marsh, and then say, Julie, please deal with this by tomorrow, and say, and I'm not trying to be